Hello everyone and welcome to this video going over everything you need to know about the hatch in Dead by Daylight. And remember to leave a like and subscribe if this video helped you out. Now, what is the hatch? The hatch gives survivors one last chance at escaping if their team is all sacrificed or killed. But there is a lot to know about this last-ditch escape for survivors. The hatch was made specifically for the situation where a killer sacrifices 3 survivors, leaving 1 behind, but there are too many generators remaining that it is impossible for that 1 survivor to power the exit gates all on their own. So, when 1 survivor is left in the match, the hatch will spawn and open. If that survivor can find the hatch first, they will be able to successfully escape and get rewarded an extra 2,500 objective blood points. Survivors can enter the hatch even if they are in the dying state, so not all is lost if you're slugged. However, this survivor must be very careful because killers, if they find it first, can close the hatch. Closing the hatch will give the killer 250 deviousness points and starts the endgame collapse. So the survivor is given the chance to escape still by opening the exit gate. If you are the killer, make sure to apply proper pressure to those exit gates if you want your 4K. Be aware though, just because the killer closes the hatch doesn't mean it cannot be utilized, since keys can still be used to open a hatch that has been closed by the killer. But I'll go into that in more detail later in the video. There is a lot more you need to know about how the hatch spawns. You see, the hatch will automatically open when 1 survivor is left, but the hatch can still spawn in the game when survivors are left alive. So let's go over the spawning conditions of the hatch. The hatch will always spawn when the number of generators completed is equal to 1 more than the amount of survivors left in the match. Have fun doing the math on that one. Just kidding. I'm not going to make you guys do math. This isn't school. I'm just going to tell you how many gens left remaining compared to the amount of survivors left alive, because it's just much easier to remember how the hatch spawns in this way. So if 2 survivors are left, it spawns at 2 generators remaining. With 3 survivors left, it spawns at 1 generator remaining. And with 4 survivors left, it spawns when the exit gates are powered. Now, if your team is killed before you complete any generators, then you will not be able to find the hatch before it spawns. It will just automatically spawn when 1 survivor is left. And this is probably the situation that is not ideal on the survivor or killer side even, because you cannot find the hatch beforehand. It's just a complete guessing game. However, when the hatch does spawn in this way, where the number of generators completed is 1 more than the amount of survivors left alive, then you can actually find the hatch before you are in the deadly situation of 1 survivor left. This is important to know for both killers and survivors, because as survivor, you can find where the hatch has spawned and then go there when things turn south. Or if you are the killer, you can find the hatch and know you have to go here to close it immediately. Or if you're chasing the last survivor, you can kind of herd them away from where you know the hatch is. There are multiple reasons why you would want to know where the hatch is as well. Say the game goes completely fine and all 4 survivors are alive, you power the gates, and maybe you want to max out your objective. So you can go find the hatch, wait for your teammates to leave, and then take the hatch as survivor to get those extra blood points. Or if you're the killer, you can just camp the hatch when the survivors are escaping, so you can close it for some extra points. When the hatch is open, it does make a very loud wind tunnel sound, which can help you find the hatch faster as killer or survivor when it is open. Now that you know the basics of how the hatch works, you need to know about all the items and offerings that can affect it. Let's start off with keys. There are skeleton keys and dual keys that survivors have access to. These keys have the ability to open the hatch, and opening the hatch with a key will award you an extra 2,000 blood points in the objective category. Creating another important reason to know where and when the hatch spawns. If only 3 survivors are left in the trial and 1 generator remains, and 1 survivor happens to have a key, then the survivors can just go to the hatch, open it, and everyone can escape for free. It is a cheesy strategy for sure, but it happens, and I'm sure a lot of you have experienced it already. Survivors can also use keys to escape when the gates are powered, as well to avoid having to face the killer at the exit gates, or to pull off some amazing end-of-game plays. So killers, you have to make sure to pay attention to the items survivors are holding, both in the pre-lobby and during the match. Because remember, there are chests in the game, and if survivors search these chests, they can get super lucky and find a key to try and escape with. Most of the time, if a survivor has a key, then they're trying to escape through the hatch. And remember, even if the killer closes the hatch, survivors can still open the hatch with a key. One important thing though, keys can only be used while in the healthy or injured states, not while in the dying state. So if you can manage to slug the survivor before they get close enough to the hatch to open it, well, you can prevent the key escape. There is a warning I must give you about keys though. Skeleton keys and dull keys only open the hatch for 30 seconds. So if you don't get to the hatch fast enough, then it's just gonna close right in your face. There is another unique interaction with keys and the hatch that I have encountered that you wouldn't think would work this way, but it actually does. So, there were 3 survivors in the match, and the one I was chasing saw the hatch and jumped into it using a key for a free escape. I, of course, closed the hatch immediately to trigger the endgame collapse, and I downed the remaining survivors and proceeded to hook them. Now, the first survivor I hooked died on the hook, and therefore only 1 survivor was left in the match. I rushed back to the survivor ASAP and picked them up right as the hatch opened, so it was extremely close. I figured that the hatch was already opened and closed, it wouldn't open again, but that was not the case. So remember this, killers, if at any time 1 survivor is being left in the match for any reason, the hatch is going to automatically open, regardless of how many times it has been closed previously. So always hook those slugs that are closest to the hatch, which I did not do in my game, but fortunately managed to recover. Now, keys are not the only items that interact with the hatch. Survivors also have maps that will show them the aura of the hatch. Rainbow maps will always show the aura of the hatch to survivors if they are in range of it, it's just the built-in part of that item. However, normal maps can only show the hatch to survivors if they use the rare Black Silk Cord add-on. This can be used in combination with keys as a Survive with Friends team to quickly locate the hatch and escape through it, so make sure to be on the lookout for that. And since we are on the subject of seeing the hatch aura, well, survivors do have a 1 perk that shows them the hatch aura, and that is Bill's unique perk Left Behind, which will show the aura of the hatch within a 24, 28, or 32 meter range, only if you are the only survivor left in the match. This only works in the 1 survivor left scenario. However, if they have a key, well, that's really good for that survivor. With all of that out of the way, let's move on to the offerings that can influence the hatch spawns. Now, both the killer and survivor have access to these common offerings, and they are called the same regardless of which role you are playing. The annotated blueprint tremendously increases the chances of spawning the hatch in the killer shack if the map has a killer shack. So it has potential to be useless if you get a map such as Haddonfield, which has no killer shack. If there is a killer shack in the map you get, keep in mind the RNG factor of this offering, as it is not a 100% guarantee the hatch will spawn in shack, but if things are going south, you should check the shack first. Keep all of this in mind for the other offering, Vigo's Blueprint. This says tremendously increases the chance of spawning the hatch in the main building if the map has a main building. Remember, there are some maps that do not have a main building, such as Rotten Fields and Wrecker's Yard. If you guys have any comments or questions to add about the hatch, feel free to comment below and I will help you out, because I know way too much about this game. If you want to know tips for finding the hatch, well, make sure to subscribe to know when I upload my video on how you can find the hatch as killer or survivor. Leave a like if this video helped you out, and thank you very much for watching. As always, good luck out there in the fog, and see ya next time.